Yo. GM.
Good morning.
GM. What is good, everyone? What's good? Too Tall, how are you, my dude?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me on, Rapture.
Oh, I appreciate you joining me. Feels like a throwback. Well, it is a throwback, too. When we used to do some of these X spaces back in the day of the Larp Legit series. Well, back to the ETH utility days. Well, different chain. Feels like different chain, same shit, though. We've been running through a lot of the similar arc that things went on a little over a year ago, or a little under a year ago.
It all comes back full circle.
Comes back full circle. Time is a flat circle. How you been, my friend?
Doing great. It's been a fun year, and just couldn't ask to be in a better space than crypto.
We do love it here. And so what have you you pretty much transitioned for the most part just to trading on Solana, as I think most of the market has.
Yeah. I mean, since must have been March, April of 2024, Solana really took the lead in terms of on-chain volume and attention.
Yeah, all the attention, all the volume, all of the insane runners have taken place on Solana. Whether
it was from memes to AI, and I mean there was a stint in this AI run on base, which I did not partake in. I didn't find I had much of an edge there. This came in a bit late. But yeah, it's really been a Solana-esque season, and it's been fun.
It has been. It has been a lot of fun, and I think there's still a lot of fun to be had moving forward. The market's just in a little bit of a wait and see mode. Like there's still coins popping up that you get those daily plays that everyone piles into.
Yeah.
But a lot less so recently. Like the market cap ceilings have come down quite a bit.
It's a bit dire. You have to, let's not forget, like 2-3 weeks ago, we were sending coins to hundreds of millions, whatever the Trump coin happened. That was 3 weeks ago, not even. And going from that to like runners every day, people making 6 figures a day, just so much happening to quite literally nothing, and just like death. All the coins bleeding to zero.
I mean, the group chats have gone a lot more quiet, a lot more of the we're in this together kind of vibes and camaraderie, and seeking other places to fill the time until the market is signaling risk on and the big boys start deploying their capital again.
Yeah. Well, we all saw it firsthand. It wasn't much of a house money effect that occurred on chain. People took the Trump and Melania profits into stables. And
yeah, a lot of that. I mean, a lot of the big players that I know, they've definitely been sitting in stables and just waiting for the moment to deploy, not trying to get ahead of the market. But I think something that a lot of people are losing sight of is the market overall is still in a healthy place. I mean, Bitcoin is still just trading in a high time frame range that it's been trading in now for a little while, and it goes to the top of the range, and as CT does, everyone gets hyper bullish into the highs and then hyper bearish at the lows. When you just take that zoomed out view and you realize that there is a range that we've been trading in. The only counterpoint to that, though, is like BTCD has been skyrocketing and also been getting slaughtered. I was just watching the homie Trader Main's live stream. Shout out to Trader Main, one of the largest influences and educators on the way that I trade and the system that I trade, talking about very similar things. Like just take a zoomed out view, and he was speaking a lot about the mythical alt season that a lot of the KOLs on CT keep trying to push on people. And he was really highlighting the fact that there has been pockets of alt seasons. It's just not in those dino coins. And yes, there was a brief period where everyone was playing sex pairs and everyone was a perp trader all of a sudden. But there's been many bullish alt seasons that have taken place. It's just the rotations are pretty fast and heavy. But we had the massive AI season. We had pockets of the meme season throughout the summer. And it's just a matter of where is that attention and capital going to flow to next. And I strongly believe that once when BTC is going up, then those sort of coins do well, and when it's coming down, the volumes just trickle off, and that's just a natural market dynamic.
Yeah.
I just want to run through some of the housekeeping real quick for everyone that's joining us. Appreciate you all that are here with us on stream. My name is 0xRapture. And this is Astrology for Men, which is brought to you by The Daily Edge, thedailyedge.com/subscribe. It is a daily newsletter sent directly to your inbox for free, written by the one and only on-chain wizard, where you can get actionable insights, intel, and information about the market. And that is a companion newsletter to Chain Edge, also by the one and only on-chain wizard, chainedge.io, which is an on-chain analytics platform tracking the top 0.01% of DEX traders by profitability. And you can track across ETH and EVM chains, and of course, the holy grail of Solana. You can find links to these either in the show about the channel's about tab here on Twitch, or if you go over to X and follow find my account, you can find some of the links there, as well as in other places. So a while back, as we were mentioning, Tutal and I were doing some Twitter spaces called Larp Legit. And this was in the depths of the ETH utility coin season, probably last February, March, we were running them.
Yeah.
And so many coins coming out that it was hard to stay track of. And the question that we were always encountering was, is this coin a LARP or is it legit? And we were like, well, that's a pretty good idea for a show. We're not going to replicate that specifically. What I'm more interested in from my colleague here, Tutal, is his process of research, because I'll admit, picking a coin based off of its fundamentals is not my strong suit. Like, everyone that knows me knows that I'm a levels trader, I'm a TA guy. That is my primary skill set. And so when I'm looking for information about coins or research into coins, I lean into the people in my circles, and Tutal is one of them. And what I wanted to do with this show, and it's potentially going to turn into a weekly occurrence, is to dive into some coins that has piqued your interest. Dive into some coins that have piqued your interest, and to go through your process of research of how it is that you determine whether it's worth investing in, whether it's LARP or legit.
Yeah. I mean, with all these AI coins, it was basically a repetition of that. Figuring out what was real tech and not, and sometimes it didn't even matter. Just there's been this funny thing of the good old if the tech is real, then it's a sender, and off that just off the speculation of it alone, it'll go to whatever, a few million in market cap and just dump to zero afterwards. But even in that, there's opportunity.
Yes, and when we're in a version of a mania phase, which at the moment the market is not in, at least on chain. Well, in any areas, actually, we're not in a mania moment. We're in a temporary lull. But when things are hot like that, it is more of an environment where you can kind of just throw darts at things that claim certain underlying tech, and they'll generally go up a certain amount, and then the cream rises to the top, and then, as we've seen, you get coins like ARC running to 600 million market cap. Now, these coins are down a lot from the top, and it's yet to be seen whether these survive this shakeout, or if we just get an entirely new focus and shift in attention in the market and crown new champions for that period. Has much been looking, have you seen much recently that's been piquing your interest, or are you just sort of monitoring what's happening and looking into things as they come up, but nothing's really been that interesting yet, at least in the last, like, let's say 2 weeks, because it's really since the Trump coin launched that the whole market dynamic shifted.
Well, it's been relatively easy to monitor what's hot and new, because you either have everyone piling into it, and they all end up in doing the same fractal, just slowly down only, with the likes of like Jelly and even most recently SSC. He can go on like the Baron, even back then, Alon and whatnot.
It's like these mini metas that go on an entire cycle run, like an afternoon.
Yeah, within a day or two,
which is pretty wild.
Yeah, it's really wild.
Speaking about Jelly, what are your thoughts on that whole internet capital markets meta that sort of popped up? Do you think that was something new, or do you just think that was an extension of AI companies had been getting on-chain funding, so that was just a natural progression? Like, what is your view on that? What seems like it lasted maybe three days or so.
I like the idea of it. And at the end of the day, look, everyone in this stream, myself included, we're here to make money on whatever product. But the reality is one, the funding part is pretty BS, especially off pump fund, because that would mean you have to sell a good amount of tokens unless you start utilizing Meteora pools and whatnot.
With the taxes, the good old tax days.
Yeah, the taxes would work, actually.
This was actually an argument that I had when the AI season on Solana started to pop up, and comparing it to ETH, the ETH utility season days and the days of 5 of 5 tax farms, where I said, look, companies are over here on Solana launching it to a large amount of success. And the whole tax meta just seems extractive to participants, because you're right off the bat, you're losing 5% of your buy. And then when you go to sell, you're losing 5% of your sell. Whereas if these are legit companies, if they present a very clear outline of what they're going to be doing with the team tokens, and if, yes, they're going to be selling some so that they can provide runway for them to be able to develop, then I think that's a better model. But at the end of the day, it kind of goes both ways, right? Because if you know that they're going to be selling at intervals, even if they're explicitly outlined, people are going to try and front run that, right?
Yeah, and it'll spook people up. I think the main thing for me is I like the idea that crypto is a space that offers that possibility but these companies are often Web 2 and they're not Web 3 aligned, which oftentimes ends up being more extractive. Like, let's say there's no tax, then the only way to fund is through selling. So next thing you know, you find out, like, why would I only hold 2% if I can get 20%? And it ends up being extractive, where the teams just, even recently with ALOTT, the Swedish company or whatever, it's like these things, and especially since Trump, a lot of these tokens,
it's opportunistic.
But the repricing of these, the quick repricing of these to whatever, like fair market valuation, or just what the speculative market cap could be, is much more rapid than it was in 2024, or take build up and whatnot. Like, all these charts is really just day one all-time high and then down only, because we've seen all the iterations of AI type of coins, and we know how to value them. Whereas before, if AI 16Z comes out, like, there hasn't been one, you have no way of evaluating it.
Yeah, there hadn't been one yet. People weren't sure what it was yet. It was still early into the AI meta. It was actually, the market was in a little bit of a lull at that moment. Like, the season 1 of the AI tokens had already kind of played out their initial movement, and then sentiment was down for a brief period post GOAT, and some of those, and Genon and some of those V1 AI tokens. And then there was a bit of a down sentiment, and then out of nowhere, AI16Z launches, and it's like a new concept within AI. And I mean, they didn't even develop into their initial framing of what they wanted that to be, right? Like initially it was this AI traded fund.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a back-end platform with ELISA. So really that kind of highlights how the research angle is so important, because people that looked into that early on and discovered, oh wait, there's more to this than what they're initially claiming, there was a lot of upside available from that, right? Like I believe it came down to something like
8.
It came down to 8 million.
Yeah, from 100.
From 100, and then ends up going to 1 point whatever billion or whatever it ends up hitting. That's a lot of upside available from there. Now you had to endure multiple rounds of Shaw kind of shooting himself in the foot, and you just had kind of to ignore that and take opportunity in the FUD. I mean, one of my comrades in the trenches, Midnight, a good buddy of mine, he, throughout all of AI season, he had a saying. It was like, FUD is for buying on these AI coins. And generally speaking, that turned out to be true, even if there was no tech underlying it. Like FUD was often really good dip buying opportunities, because the reflexivity and how fast Solana moves allows for information asymmetry if you can just like think with a clear mind and not let some of those things cloud your judgment and be acting on impulse and FOMO or whatnot. And if you just keep a level head.
Mm-hmm. It's, even on new pairs or older stuff, building FUD is always, and the dips are so harsh that like if something goes from 20 to 5 like within an hour, like there's always at least a dead cat.
At least a dead cat. And I mean, Solana is almost reliable to a fault of how the charts play out, that if there is something to it, if there was enough volume, even like sometimes that's all it is it just has enough volume that you just throw up a fib and wait for that 786 retrace and just like blind bid that. Often you're rewarded, even if there's nothing much to the token. But what we want to do is sort of dig into, how do we parse when there actually is something to a token? What is the research process that you go through, like when you come across a new token? So I think what we're going to do is we're going to pull up your screen.
Yeah.
You ready to do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're going to let you walk through your process when looking into a token and how you decide if there's opportunity there, if it's something you want to put your capital towards, with the expectation or the presumed expectation that you're going to see returns.
Yeah. So usually how I find tokens, it's, to start that off, it's either through wallet tracking, through in a group chat, someone's Twitter channel, or on just following Memescope or Photon Trending.
Because, and I mean, that's a pretty encompassing view of the market, right? Like you have feelers into many areas so that you're constantly on top of what's taking place in the market.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to be, if so much competition. You have to have an overcompassing view on all this stuff.
Oh, I totally agree. Like, it rewards people who are active even in the slow moments, because you have to keep your reps up. You have to stay. You have to keep your mind and your bullshit meter active, so that you can quickly determine, because there is going to come a moment, probably sooner than we realize, and out of the blue, where things improve. You want to be able to capitalize on that. And if so many people check out during times like this, and then that's when it happens.
If we could, we can do this at the end as well. It doesn't matter. But at one point, sidetracking, and I want to hear what your views are on looking forward?
Yeah, for sure. We can get into that a bit later.
All right, perfect. So yeah, I'll be either photon trending here on Memescope. Just it's a question of monitoring, and once you find a project of interest, I mean, recently Memescope has been pretty shit. But
yeah, it's been a bit of a
there's one.
What are you noticing mostly lately? Are you seeing mostly just memes again, and the AI coin is sort of dried up dramatically?
The amount of AI launches are super minimal recently. I mean, I have a few that I want to talk about later on.
Yeah, for sure.
But on a side note, this one coin is going crazy right now.
Montoya, the poor guy. Have you seen the video?
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. It's I mean,
I think everyone knows what it is. I woke up this morning, it's the only thing I saw. Should have been his son.
I mean, if you go on a show like that, you're kind of setting yourself up for some sort of situation like that.
Yeah. Anyways,
Montoya is going crazy. It's just there's no official affiliation on it. It's just a meme that someone launched on Pump.
I don't know. It just in the last 5 minutes, it went from 2 to 13. I don't know what happened, but it's not like I can trade it now. But so you find a project.
Traction. It's been getting some traction amongst like sports teams and stuff like that. Like they've been posting the meme. Poor guy. Oh, Dave Port. Okay, Fubius in the chat. GM Foobs. Dave Portnoy tweeted about it, and everyone right now has Twitter notifications on for Portnoy because it is speculated that he is going to be launching a coin.
Yeah.
Oh, GM Munar, GM Jaunty, GM JJ, GM Tice. Good to see you back. Well, we appreciate you being here. Foobs, GM.
Have you guys?
You're saying Portnoy is trading shitters. I'm just looking in the chat. Portnoy is trading shitters right now, Foobs?
Yeah, I just saw his tweet. He said,
"That's hilarious.
Dave learned how to trade shitcoin and is already up 1,000,000,000% on my first one."
That's hilarious.
Montoya, por favor.
I mean, it's probably going to be the main coin of the day at this point, right? Unless the speculation about Portnoy or Kanye launching a coin. What do you think a coin like that what type of impact do you think it would have on the market where we are right now?
Would cause a daily liquidity sink.
Which is not hard to do in the best of times, and in this conditions, I mean, it becomes obvious where the liquidity is focused.
Yeah.
Is this an actual Portnoy coin, or this is just someone launching something? Well, why don't you walk us through your process of what you do when you come across a coin like this? Because there can be research into legit projects. There can also be research into memes. Like, so what is your process when a coin like this pops up? What would you?
Well, with this Portnoy coin, there's been a trend recently of people sending. Excuse my computer's a bit slow right now, but yeah, looks like this wallet that they tracked back to his holdings for Montoya, which are public. They probably sent him 70%, and there's been this trend where you send a popular figure bunch of supply in hopes that they either acknowledge it, burn it, or run it. Yeah. And this is just that's speculation of it. Yeah, exactly. So you own 70%.
How did you come to the conclusion that that's what occurred here so quickly?
Because first you have to check you have to go into holders, and I have the tweet up. It's not actually, we can check it. I have the tweet up of Dave Portnoy he's showing how much supply of Montoya he has, so his wallet's public now. Okay. And people are just looking to make a buck off, and they sent him about 70% of this Portnoy coin.
Oh, your computer is jamming.
And obviously it goes to whatever 2-3 mil. But yeah, when you come across AI coin, first check if like you never want to buy a coin that's 80-90% bundled. There's tools, trench radar, bunch of other stuff, or even just manually checking holders. And then you want to go through socials like Kuhn's website, Twitter, see what people are saying about it.
Manually checking the holders where just on Photon or Bullx under the holder section, or are you actually going on the SoulScan to look into these things?
No, I think the way Photon and SoulScan are optimized, it shows it's really encompassing of the whole view. It shows snipers, insiders, bundles.
So
Like right now,
they pretty much rendered needing to leave platform to go view on SoulScan. Like you can accomplish it all from these tools now.
I mean, that's the whole purpose of the tools. It's a terminal. You should only be there. So you want to
the more you can do under one platform, the quicker you can be moving about your business.
Exactly. It comes back to that Larp legit, like the name of the show. You really want to identify if this is something, and once they're just preliminary checkers, then you go into the details and you see what the musings are on your groups, what the Twitter's about, if it's been there for a while, who's following it.
And I guess with a coin like Portnoy, with this Portnoy coin, you're gambling on the fact of whether he's going to dump those tokens or not, and whether he's going to acknowledge it or not.
Yeah, that's it. There's no Twitter, nothing. It's really just we have his wallet, which wasn't the case before. And he owns 70% of it. So it's really, this is just speculation on imagine if Portnoy does something.
Since his wallet is now public knowledge, at least this wallet, what do you think occurs as a meta? Do you think now we're just going to get a bunch of people diving into whatever coins are in that wallet and trying to speculate on those? Do you think that becomes a meta for at least today?
Well, if he keeps trading with this wallet on new coins, then yeah, those coins are going to get sent. So it wouldn't be unless he just takes full stop. Like, may as well just put him on your wallet tracker. I mean, it'll of course get sniped away before we can do anything, but just something good to keep an eye on.
How many wallets are you actively tracking these days?
I have 200, but maybe like 120 are active, but I have 200 wallets, but some of them are like 5 wallets for one person.
Yeah, similar.
Well,
I don't track quite that many, but
I'd say maybe 50 to 70 people that I track.
And where do you like to do your tracking? Are you doing that through a TG bot still, or
I still use CLO.
Okay.
If you can see my screen here, I get alerts. Can you see the Telegram?
No, alerts don't pop up.
Okay.
You do have to actually open your Telegram, but that's fine. You don't need to do that.
Well, I get them through Telegram, and I have notifications on for them, so they show up on my screen whenever there's one.
Yeah. And in terms of platforms, is there reasons that you're choosing certain platforms over others, or it's a habit of workflow and you're used to them at this point?
There is that, but I genuinely I prefer that I'm not as much of a trenchy like APing a bunch of coins every day. Much more of I prefer researching and establishing a thesis and buying and whatnot. And the reason I use Photon, which is not, I'd say in all, Bullx is the best platform. They have just everything is better, except for discovery, which I much prefer for finding on new pairs, trending, and meme scope. I much prefer the user experience for finding tokens, not necessarily for trading them.
Gotcha. And why is that? just preference, or is it because it's more streamlined, or the filters?
For me, it's mainly the trending page based off of filters and also the user interface of it compared to BullX, which I prefer. It helps me identify these tokens and able to look into them.
Gotcha.
But
I think BullX on they just put out a few recent updates, and I noticed that they have incorporated a trending section recently. I've yet to play with it, but I want to take a look around at it. Not necessarily here on the show, but I didn't see that they had that, and it has some pretty powerful filters. I also love using Chain-Edge Terminal for discovery. It's a really great platform for that as well. I know you've been using it a bit too.
Yeah. Chain-Edge Terminal is great. If you're looking for, we can see here Montoya Port and Portnoy. It's amazing for identifying like what's hot on the moment, what people are buying. To this Soul Trench volume feed, which I use mainly, and the Alpha Stream beta.
Yeah, the Alpha Stream I really love because it's a good buy the dip indicator. Like after the initial frenzy on a token, if you see a couple hours later some quality wallets start to buying in after prices come down, it's generally good signal as to the next wave to get in on.
Yeah, what I like about it goes back to that discovery. So you can see what people are buying, and it gives you that time either to quick research, buy it, or research it, put it aside, and wait for that dip. And of course, with the amount of things that Rapture help me understand and learn with just trading levels and whatnot. I don't have a full encompassing understanding, but that helps with buying these dips on coins you're looking at. Much more than just, if you're looking at a whatever, I'll bring up a random token. Maybe not that one. Like here, if you're just looking at this and forget the lines, maybe I like this price point. You just buy there, and there's much more edge into buying at levels.
I mean, just everyone knows that I fully agree with that, and that's how I go about my trading, and how I try and help people learn that system. But we can save that for the next time I do a chart request show.
Yeah.
Why don't we? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think just going back to the research part. I think one thing people undermine often is, the trend is really being on MemeScope and looking at it, and if you don't, whatever, you look at this stuff, and if you don't, it doesn't catch you, just move on, you keep searching. But I think there's so many more people trading MemeScope nowadays on MemeScope and just these new pairs.
Yeah.
And the edge the amount of players there, it's harder to perform as well. So the wallet checking game has gotten big, but also I think for that research aspect, like actually going through the Telegram and Discord and looking up what the dev is saying, what he's planning, and these are stuff that occur before the tweets and whatnot, is also a big edge in just keeping these tabs. Right now it's not much because no one really wants to be buying AI projects at the current moment. But when you're in that season, just having noties on their Twitters, being in the Telegram or Discord chat and seeing what team members and as well as the dev are saying in the chat, because not every chat is going to be a tweet of theirs. So there's a lot of or fully reading through the white paper. There's a lot of not a lot of people doing that, and the upside on if you find certain information is pretty high.
I think that comes down to as well, like what end of the market do you want to be trading in, and where do you have edge? Where is your edge in the market? Like if you're a MemeScope guy and you're locked in 24/7 and you can parse a narrative in seconds and you're just firing clips that way, and you're maybe using some of the sniping tools that have become available, like Bloom or the new sniper on BullX, and that's your strategy. There's, if you focus on that, you can have a lot of edge there. but you are competing at the highest level in that range. Whereas your approach is you monitor what's being launched, but then the things that catch your eye, you're having some time to look into them and actually find out if there's something there that once the initial first speculators run it up and then it sort of comes back down and it quiets down a bit, you those are the coins you're looking for to pick your spots that you're saying, okay, I think I'm early to the next leg of this trade before the market catches up with that information.
100%, yeah.
So why don't we, if you have any in mind of, I mean, there hasn't been much launched in the last couple of weeks. We'll be honest with you, like it is dry, but sharpening these tools now so that when things do intensify is going to help people so that when those moments return, people aren't caught with their dick in their hands and feeling lost because they have no idea what the hell they're looking for, which is really what I want to find out through your process is, okay, so say there's a coin that sparks your attention that you look into further, like what is that process like?
Add it to the watch list and then put time towards fully understanding and also with these AI coins, they're not all unique. So you can use if some are slightly better, you can just based off of what another token has done, things like reflexivity.
For valuations, you mean?
For valuations, right? If X token went to 20 mil, and if this product is a new launch offering the similar thing, then you can, and it's at 2 mil, you can expect it to go higher, you know?
Yeah, because some of the greatest trades to be had when the market is providing them is finding those coins in that you were saying 2 million, but around that like 2 to 3 million up to like 4 or 5 in that range. If you're able to find them there, there's oftentimes a 10x available when the market is placing its capital in that direction. Once the one wave is peaked and that starts to come back down, well, then those people are selling and looking for the next wave of things. And your approach is to find those before the wave catches them. And those have been some of the better trades to take, I think.
That's what I've been most successful with, yeah. And oftentimes it's before you see all the while it's piling into it, because you want to ideally catch it before it's on a parabolic route.
Gotcha. And I mean that's not my strongest suit. I'm a volume and momentum trader, and I just my strategy is waiting for the higher low once the market is signaling that that's where it's shifting its capital towards. Whereas you're trying to front run that, which is always really it's been really inspiring to me. Or not, I don't think inspiring is the word, but it's been really I've admired that approach. It's just not something that I've been able to nail down myself because the narratives aren't my strong suit.
Well, it's been rewarding with the AI coins because you'll see an oftentimes pattern. I can show a chart now, which I wanted to talk about later today.
Yep.
What happens oftentimes is day 1 to 2 it hits all-time highs, and excuse the lag, Jesus, and it'll come back down. Like it'll come back down much lower. Like what, it hit 6 mil here, and it came back down all the way sub 1 mil, and this is the phase here where that research and the keeping tabs on it is rewarding, because as long, I mean, it's less the case now, but when for the past 3 months AI has been hot. So what are people looking for? AI coins. So after this, the meme scope guys get out and that initial 1 day hype phase is out, people know what it is. Now is the building phase, and this is the keeping tabs, being in the Discord, having noties on and watching it. And you look for an entry somewhere here, and usually, I mean, who knows, we're in bad market conditions now, but oftentimes when it's a good product and you front run those people, you buy in here and it ends up doing something like this and goes a bit past all-time high, and you sell there and you just rinse repeat, because it's like in that early day one phase, it's new shiny toy, then people get rid of it. But the
Yeah.
team, if the team sticks around and the product's still decent, then flows will eventually come back to it.
And this is what I want to get better at, is recognizing these tokens with the potential when they're down low like that, but the
Yeah.
team has remained active, because I think that is probably the best edge in this market, because at the front end of the spear, it's incredibly competitive, and you're at the whim of people with putting in huge bribe amounts to win the migration snipes and things like that. Where by the time it's hitting Radium after the migration, it's already in many millions of market cap, and that initial edge is gone. You're essentially exit liquidity at that point.
Yeah, well, it's much different. Like here, if you're buying the chart here under whatever 700K on launch, it could go to
Yeah.
zero because not enough clarity. But boom, you have a clean 10x.
A
Or
clean
20.
10x, but you have to be able to put in that research in a matter of seconds, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you're getting to look into things. And I'm a little bit older compared to most people in the crypto markets, and I don't move lightning speed like that in terms of research. So trying to identify these coins that on day 2, day 3, day 5, whatever it is, are asymmetric is really compelling to me.
And the best way I found that is watching out for them on launch and then keeping tabs when they dip, keeping them in the watches and watching. Just
And
like
what's your buy strategy on things like that? Like, yes, levels, and you
just
often ask me about levels, but are you buying small bits on dips, or are you just putting your bet and waiting it out?
I'm the type of guy that, like, let's say this is at a mill, I'll just buy what I want to buy at a mill and just wait. But
And
that
what sort
also
of time horizon do you put on that for yourself? Like, what is your invalidation? Is it time based? Is it if it drops a certain level below where you bought? Like, what is your horizon for something like that?
it's level as well as time. Like if this is in different conditions, this wouldn't have done that. But usually it's like 2-3 days of this accumulation.
Yeah.
But as soon as, like, if this starts breaking down back down, then uh, probably forget it. Like you have a feel of there's a finite amount of time, or like we've been in a cycle of we're so back, we're so over, we're so back, and during those we're so overs, whether it lasts a day or two, like you load up there, and um, you'll know in the we're so back if this doesn't do anything, then that's a sign.
Okay.
Because
And
it's
throughout
really
that,
just,
after you've bought, sorry to cut you off, after you've bought, are you continuing to monitor the telegrams or discords or anything like that, and
yeah.
sentiment overall? You're constantly reviewing your
Because
thesis.
the whole point of it is at a mil and 10 mil, it's supposed to be semi different. The product itself with its added stuff, or more people know about it, or like the whole point of these AI coins is the building aspect of it, and then
Gotcha.
getting updates.
Is it for the most part, when these coins are launching, like the product is not really anywhere to be found yet? It's mostly just
Yeah,
them saying things until
yeah,
they're
that's a lot.
showing. It's like showing your work for a math problem.
Exactly. Like right here, like on 2 days after, the product was probably better with more updates, but because whatever, it already went on that speculation run, it's much harder for that second run up. But I'm able to size in more than and with more confidence than here, because I know drawdown is limited, and I know what I'm going into. I have a full encompassing view. But it's much the another thing why I don't think people do this as much is because, like, why would I wait a week or 4 or 5 days to wait for this to go up, when in the matter of 2-3 hours this went from whatever 250K to 6 million.
Because of the instant gratification that this market seeks.
Exactly. There's so many opportunities like that on a daily basis. People just go back and veer towards that. Then the waiting sizing. And at the end of the day, like before this, before pump fund and whatnot, like this was on ETH or whatever coin, it was slow grind up, or it would take a few days for it to happen. But now we've gotten so good at pricing these things to what they're so quickly,
The efficiency in the market,
Yeah, it's crazy.
So anyways, on something like that, obviously bundles are important. You're digging into who controls those bundles, what the bundles look like. Like, do you have an example? Like, what are some of the more specifics that you're looking for when you're looking at those things? Because the word bundle gets tossed around so much, but I don't think majority of people really understand what that means or what it is that they're looking for, and why one type of bundling might be okay versus another type just being a non-starter.
Yeah, it has more to do with when it's really much more of a new pair, but it depends. Like if it's example like a jelly, that's a proper, which they didn't really bundle, but it's a proper platform. It's devs are legit. Yeah, you can understand why they would be 20% locked up for like whatever, if they say treasury or for the dev team, and this is how they plan on utilizing it. But when it's just you're launching a cat or another slot bot wrapper, you have to be careful, because at the end of the day, like people can that's the goes back to the risk and the reward with these new pairs is if you get it right, the upside is crazy, and there's so many times where the bundles didn't matter, so it's kind of it's much more of a thing. You get a feel for it after time, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like you start it's pattern recognition. You've seen holders a million times. I don't know, I don't know what, like Mickey, like this is uh it's at 11 mil. It wasn't launched on Pump Fund. So it was a Radium launch. I've never opened this. Well, I'll also have the Pocket Universe, which usually it helps. Can you hear me?
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit. Might be a connection issue. Are you there?
Shoot. Let me know when you hear me clearly.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly again.
You can't hear me?
No, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Well, I was looking at this coin, which it was just at 11 mil, like when I opened it. It's no longer. It's at. I was gonna show the bundle. Well, I mean, this is
I mean, that's something that's pretty apparent right there, is how there's so many wallets just holding 0.5%.
Yeah, the value of it there's 64,000. Anyways, this is an extreme value, but you get a sense like if there's 10 wallets that own 2.87%, and then the next one is like 1, and then after that 0.4, like that gap is just it ends bad, like oftentimes it ends bad. And it also affects the performance of the token, unless it's like an example like the Kanye West coin or the Trump coin, like it'll pump regardless.
Yeah, just because it's the place where there's a level of built up speculation, because there's rumors of these things potentially launching, and then everyone's sort of waiting for it, and everyone's going to clip in regardless. I mean, not everyone, but a large chunk of the market is kind of just waiting to try and get in on these opportunities early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sniping is, we've seen goats like Flipping Profits is a top tier sniper.
Profit is crushing it. He's been crushing it on the meme scope.
He'll pick up like a hyped AI token launch, snipe it, whatever. He doesn't mind paying the fees because get 10% for maybe like it'll cost them 15K or something like that. But the coin's at like 8 mil market cap, you have 10%. You just that's 800,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's killed
I
it.
mean, respect the game on that level, right? Like if you're able to do that and you find an inefficiency in the market, that's what you do. You exploit inefficiencies.
Yeah, it's the whole,
especially with the tooling that's available now. That realistically, if someone wanted to pursue that, if they thought that they had an edge, they can. Like it's an open market, right? So respect the game for people doing things like that.
Yeah, 100%. So what do you want to get into?
I mean, the unfortunate thing is there's just not much to research right now, but just general your process of doing that, and you've spoken through what that looks like. And I think in future episodes, and hopefully when the conditions are more conducive to it, we can dive in a little bit more each time so that we can see, like, if a new pair comes in that piques your interest, like what that process would be like. But I mean, generally speaking, what you're doing is you're looking for something that A, catches your eye, and then it has potential, whether that be an AI coin or a meme. You look for what the narrative is. You start digging through, you're using your discovery processes, right? Whether that be on trending or meme scope on Photon, whether that be on wallet trackers, whether that be from a group chat, whether that be from a platform like the Chain Edge terminal for discovery. You're using these early tools so that you can you get that moment of time that you can start to look into whether it's worth your attention or not. And then from there, you're digging into some more of the specifics, like what do the wallets look like? What do the bundles look like? What's the actual narrative here? Is there a reason why this would be more than just today's pump and dump? Or does it have something that you could look to build a position in over the course of a few days to front run the next wave of capital flow?
Exactly, yeah.
Which I think a lot of people would like to be able to do, because while it's very sexy to think, oh, I'm going to snipe all these tokens right on launch and that's where I'm going to make all my money. Really, the people that do incredibly well over a longer period of time are people that hone an edge like you've developed.
Yeah, but even at that, it's you're doing your thing. It's tough to see like people making the huge sums of money on these new pairs and not trying to be interested, or on the means.
Well, of course, it allures all of us. Like that's the allure of crypto in general, is that you can turn nothing into millions in an afternoon. But
it's also
I don't think the majority of participants actually want to be in that end of the market. I think people would much prefer. I mean, maybe I'm completely wrong on that, and obviously the volume and amount of activity off of platforms like MemeScope and Pump Vision and things like that say that there's a lot of activity at that end of the market. But I think a lot of people would do better on many aspects, like the mental aspect of it, of not being firing off snipes like that, and actually taking some time to digest the information and build a thesis would go a long way for people.
I mean, it feels like in the past, in January at least, it's really been a market of wallet watching, following those trades and getting confirmation through that. Like if everyone's piling into, okay, this is the run of the day, we'll go with this. And I mean, Powell had a good thread on that, Trader Powell, and I think that it's been the case. Like it's in Q1. In Q1, there was not much of a wallet tracking frenzy, or Q1, Q2. But now it's really been the like token discoveries found that way, and you'll see a lot of coins like main trackers, like you could say, are like POW, Frank, Gake, whatnot, and you'll see the coin they'll buy like for the first 10 minutes it'll just be ranging in between like 200 to 500k, and as soon as they buy, of course they have a bunch of copy traders, but that rate there, like them buying at 500, now it's at a mil. It can speed run to 3 mil because now it has everyone is tracking them, and now has their eyes on that token.
Yeah.
So that's also a discovery, token discovery way, because people are just chilling until not necessarily watching Memescope aggressively. And as soon as they buy, it's like, oh, they bought, like, let me find out why or what this is. And that brings much more attention.
I think on those tokens too, there's actually, yes, if you can be like one of the first buyers after they've bought, you're going to do well. But generally, if you wait for those copy traders to sell, and often a lot of them are selling at a loss, when you wait for that to come back down, that's where the next edge, if you're not the first buyers after they bought, comes into play. Because if there's something to that token, which is where your process is benefited, because you take a moment to look into whether that token is worth it or not. When it comes up. Now, I see a question in the chat from Fubius. How does Too Tall deal with noise when following that many wallets? I mean, I something that I'm curious about too, because I do find it's really easy to hoover up and like collect all these wallets in our trackers. And they just, like anything in life, you collect all these things and it becomes, can become a lot of noise or just like abstract that you like forget to actually use it for edge. So how do you deal with having that many wallets that you're tracking to actually find signal amongst that?
Yeah, it's a great question. A lot of 90% of it is just is BS, like just people trading new stuff. And when being online, for the majority of the day, like you can tell, like I know if whatever they're buying this 200k coin, I don't expect much, or it's like Portnoy, like Pepe Portnoy, whatever. They buy that, I just keep on moving. But it's mainly for, there's many times where you see someone buy, and I think with going back with wallets, you want to find wallets that are traders that suit your playing style.
Yeah, I
And
think that's very important, is aligning your tracking with wallets that align with the way that you like to trade. Because if you're a research and buy on day 2 to 3 kind of guy, and all the wallets you're tracking are early snipers, well, that's a contradictory statement you're making about how you want to be in the market.
Yeah, or just like I have Trendscope open here. It's the same. What thing as Alpha Stream. Essentially, it's okay. Someone, whatever, MLG whale bought some Portnoy. I know what this is. If there's new information, I'll have notice on for Portnoy. But aside from that, it's just like, okay, cool. They're buying Montoya, or they're selling.
Well, you can also see by the fact that he's an MLG whale that he's more of a meme type trader.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's really just it's information. You just filter through it quickly, and there'll be that time where there's that coin that strikes your attention. You look into it, but like all these Montoya Portnoy buys, the same goes for my wallet tracking. It just, you see it and it's signal. It's shows that there's attention, and you look into it and you decide. You have to figure out. You could talk it out with people that you're in groups of. You have to figure out if there's more runway for it. What thesis you could make, what coins similar to these have run and where they've ran, and based off of that, you decide to take a trade or not. If not, you just move on. You keep observing, because it's really it's a game of observing, then researching, and then making a decision. Most of the days,
I think a lot of people would align with that style that gives you a moment to breathe in between the fervor of the launch and actually decide by taking a beat, taking a day, sometimes it gives you several days. It depends on the conditions that we're in. Like when AI was incredibly hot, yeah, that window of asymmetry wasn't as wide. So you had to adapt to those sort of things. But it's generally, you're not never, but you're typically not monitoring new pairs with the intention of buying them right that moment. You're generally monitoring them for things, for tokens that you think have potential, and will give you time to get into them.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have meme scope open here. Though you spend most of your day observing, and like example, these two tokens have been out for 15, 20 minutes. They haven't bonded.
PAL AI. Whoa. Throwback to the Ethereum utility days. I'm assuming that's just a meme of PAL AI. Or are they migrating?
If it's there for 24 minutes and they haven't migrated, something's wrong. But example, these two, like they've just migrated 2 minutes 56 seconds. That means people are in on it was something interesting. So you look it up, go on you check out. But you have to know the thing with being on Memescope and new pairs. You have to know what's happened in the past. Like Slice Coin, there was a Slice Coin that went to 40 mil because people speculated that it was Dave Portnoy's launch.
The piece of Slice Coin.
Yeah. And now they're just relaunching it probably as a meme. It's just linked to his Twitter because he's hot right now. But if you didn't have that knowledge of that Slice Coin did well in the past, you wouldn't see it hit 45 mil.
Yeah, you need to be stacking these layers of information through your experiences on chain and through the tokens that have launched, which is why so many people agree with the fact that being terminally online is a big part of the game and having edge. Now, something that stood out to me that you just said, though, was as you're on something like Memescope, it's a lot of watching and monitoring. It's not being there just for the sake of aping into every coin. And I think that's somewhere that a lot of people get stuck, is they feel like they always need to be clicking a button. They always need to be in a trade, when no position is also a position. If you're finding that you're just gambling your money away on every new pair and you're wondering why your stack keeps dwindling and dwindling, even though you're seeing these people pull off massive P&Ls, well, you have to ask yourself, is your edge in that field, or would it suit you better to be very aware of what the market is doing, but isolating out your spots, isolating out your moments where the edge is probably more in your favor?
Yeah, I like what Jim, because it comes back down to it's really just maximizing luck surface area. So in the sense of I could do nothing today, just keep a side eye on wallets tracking launches. Like example, that Friday night, which I was not home for when Trump launched. You could just be at home having your thing open, not trading, but you're right there. You're maximizing luck surface because you see the Trump thing within the first 2-3 minutes. You see all the wallets buying, and you have about an hour to make a decision. And that's interesting. I'd get a great entry on this coin, just because you were online observing, and you get all these takes and whatnot. But if you simply weren't there at all, then there wasn't even an opportunity for you. And that's why, because it's really just, you never know when it's gonna occur. It's 24/7 market. You always have to be on your feet, and it's about the goal. The goal is you want to catch, you want to be there, but you don't know when it comes. So in conditions like these days, it's probably minus EV to be online like that. But in good conditions, just a question of being there and being ready to take your toes, do some research when you see something interesting, and act quickly.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm terminally online as well. And it definitely is edge and being locked into what's occurring. And you can tell if you've taken a few days off, like it takes time to get back up to speed. You don't jump right in and immediately hit the banger. I mean, of course, some people do, and some people are incredible like that. But it is a little bit of a getting back up to speed experience. I do see that Foobs had a follow-up question about what filters do you use within Photon. Now, from what I know about you, you're pretty loose with your filters. You like a pretty broad view of the market.
Yep, exactly. Well, I mainly use when I wake up in the morning, I just go on. I have some deck screener folders here where I check. It shows me the stuff that's launched, the stuff that's trending, getting volume, so I can see. I can find tokens that have existed for like whatever 8-9 days that are slowly being accumulated through these filters. But that's another thing. For more Photon, just I should have all the dexes on actually. And it's really just making sure when you have these, that means it's a pump fund or moonshot launch. Like as of recently, there haven't really been Radium or Meteor like straight off of their launches. And if there is, it'll be the Ryan Garcia or the Trump, and you'll see that in a second with tracking, you know. So it's really just
the high liquidity Meteor launches.
Exactly, you'll see those rather quickly. But it's really about they're pretty simple. I keep it at 200K minimum, so I don't see all the bullshit under that, and 75 mil max. Because if you take that off, they'll start showing me coins at 90 mil that aren't 9.7 billion.
That are just not just zero intrigue from you for trading a coin in that range, and I mean that
but
makes
they're
sense.
not even real.
Yeah, most of them aren't. But you want to be setting filters for a market cap that you think is an attractive area for returns as well, right? Yeah. Like you have to suit the style of coins you like to trade. Like if you're a swing trader with a lot of capital, you're going to be probably looking for coins between like 30 to 100 mil where you can put in and you're just looking for like a 2x on size. Whereas if you're trying to maybe put 5 or 10K into something and look for a 10x, you just adjust your market cap range off of that. I do see another question from Speaker Amos, and I'm just going to share my screen real quick. He said, how would you guys create a thesis around something like SAN? FYI, I got in yesterday at the lows of 12 million and it shot up to 22 in the early morning. I'm just going to share my screen. And it's actually, I did a follow-up tweet actually about SAN earlier today after I posted a tweet about Bitcoin just being in a range, and you want to be bullish at the range lows and bearish at the range highs. I mean, for something like SAN, it's a very obvious KOL push for a meme. Beyond, like, my personal thesis about SAN would be you buy the range lows and then you sell the range highs. Now, why is this a range? Because this is the swing high that created the swing low, and you can see that it's clearly trading in that range. You said you bought around 12 mil, almost definition of diddling in the middle. So not an optimal place to buy, because now you're looking at this like, what is my move from here? Because if it starts dropping down below your entry, the trade thesis might not be invalidated, because it's not invalidated till down here around 7 million, 6.7. It's a tough spot to be in, because now you're just hoping that KOLs are going to continue to push this and it maybe goes back to the highs again.
Well,
for me, building a thesis on something like that is difficult, because it is purely a CT type of coin.
I can speak on that honestly. I think for me, first time I saw this, it was at 5 mil market cap.
On day over here.
Yeah, on that pump right there, yeah. And it wasn't even through wallet tracking or filters. That's why I like to use multiple different things. I have Twitter lists of KOLs that I guess I like their opinions.
Yeah. Which is another good thing to dive into too. Like, a part of the research process is curating your sources of information and alpha. And Twitter is a great place to do that, because you can use a combination of lists and notifications, and you never even have to actually go on the normal For You feed, because I think that's a shitty way to experience Twitter. You use lists and you use notifications, and you keep your following the amount of accounts that you follow low, and you position yourself so that the information that you're receiving is quality and not just the infinite spew of garbage that's available. And sorry to cut you off there.
So I'd seen someone mention it. A Kaleman that I respect, I put in my list. He talked about sand. So I check it out and I see, and I'm looking at it. I go on I can show. I pulled up the deck screener. If you want to, revert back to me.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, perfect. You pull up the deck screener, and so you look at it here, and so I'm like, okay, what the hell is this? Is this dog? And the person had mentioned that it was getting super famous on TikTok. So you check it out. Check out the website. Check out the socials. Surely they have TikTok.
Yeah, I saw that. There was a little.
There was one.
If you go up a little bit, right there.
Yeah, perfect. You check this out, and what I like to do with TikTok stuff. So you check you see the followers, likes, and you want to see the You want to see the relevance of.
We're gonna have to soup up your internet connection for the next.
No, it's because my internet's fine. It's the RAM.
No,
I'm on 8 gigs of RAM on this thing.
I'm just bugging you. Yeah, I mean it's.
So you get the
when you have a system that's just for your trading versus one that you might use for streaming, sometimes you run into those sort of issues.
Yeah. Anyways, essentially, whatever, it's this guy, and every day he's getting like 250K views. His you can check metrics. The followers are probably going up. He's hot, and a big thing to it was that this guy, I guess his name is Kantaro, super vile, but he also backed the token. Like I went into the Telegram chat and I saw that he was a part of the team, or not the team. He acknowledged the token and he was like probably given a percentage of supply, and he was quote backing it, which gives legitimacy or more value to the coin. And then you find out which the only two KOs I at that time that I saw shilling it were THFC Muppets and just THFC and
I think I saw Poe is tweeting about it now too. I mean, it's kind of feeling like.
But the problem with this is with these type of coins is it could have died at that 4 or 5 mil, and because it's all insidery KOs and stuff, you have to take a guess. And I didn't enter the trade because the market was going to zero, and this is like huge outlier. Like,
which is kind of the opportunity for some of those coins to do well, though, right? Like one of my buddies, R28, he was like, it feels like KOL scam season, and this coin ended up going to 32 mil or above even on some of those wicks. I kind of view this as like, is this maybe another instance of a Man U type coin?
Exactly. That's exactly.
So like,
but you have
once that first big run up has occurred, what is the likelihood that it's going to have another run up back to all-time highs? It's a difficult thing to ask. And you're the person that asked the question in the chat is your entry is sort of in the middle of a range, which isn't an ideal position to be in, because if it goes below your entry, how are you going to feel about it? Are you willing to hold it down for minus 50% before it actually gets invalidated, or like what do you do with it at that point? Because it ran the highs, and if you didn't sell into that pump, maybe that was the exit pump.
Exactly.
It's a difficult place to be in, especially when the market isn't in up only mode.
What's the quote you like to say?
It's a range until proven otherwise. What's that one? I have a few. Oh, if you don't see the meat, you are the meat. Exactly. And I came across that recently, and it's something really a good question and framework to ask yourself before you enter any trade is, if you aren't going to be eating that meat of the move, then you are the meat that is about to be eaten. And I'm not saying that this coin doesn't have potential and it can't continue to go up. You just have to ask yourself, if your entry wasn't great, like what do you do if it starts to go against you?
Mm-hmm. And I'm quite pleased that this performed well because like it's easy to look at a chart like, yeah, I mean, went to whatever from 3 mil to 30 mil or whatnot. But this whole run up, it's everyone crying on the timeline, capital preservation, staying stable, meanwhile the coin's going up. So it's a tough as with these regarding the conditions, it's tough. It was a tough one to play, in my opinion,
But
because
it makes sense though in hindsight that a coin like that would do well when you start getting coordinated pushes. That the timeline, the people following these accounts are going to start buying it because they're like, well, I need something to believe in right now, and this seems to be it. But I will just bring it back to here, like, you know, I'm a levels trader, and I have no shame in admitting that. And when there's a clear range, you know, at this moment in time, I would have no interest in buying this coin. I would actually be more interested to buy it if it closes above this level. Sorry, if it closes above this level, I'd be more interested in buying this coin on a retest down into here with the aim that it goes higher, or if it comes down into here. Like you want to be bullish at the lows, bearish at the highs, neutral in the mid range. And this is something that a lot of people get lost in because, of course, yes, there's the whole, you know, buy and just hold, and it's gonna take you to Valhalla. Well, a lot of people have gotten trapped in that mindset in this cycle, and there's periods where that is a good strategy to take, and there's times when that's not a good strategy to take. And right now we're in the period where you need to be paying attention to levels.
I mean, even Murad, you know, his SPX is down. Like the only coin aside from like the majors, Bitcoin, Ethan,
And
Solana,
hype
is hype.
Bitcoin hype and stables is the portfolio of choice right now.
Like the only believers that have been rewarded are hyper liquid ones. That's it of this new cycle. That's
You want me to pull
it.
your screen up? Or are you looking at something there?
I'm looking at hyper liquid.
Oh, I mean, hype has been performing well against the market.
This is a beautiful chart, in my opinion.
It's not going to be immune though if Bitcoin wants to revisit the lows,
it won't be immune at all.
But it is a coin to keep on your radar for that. If we do get another flush down, that is probably one of the better places to direct your capital if you're looking for a more medium term type hold versus a quick flip.
Like the same way, I'd even say longer term, and it's like the same attitude people have towards, okay, I'll hold, instead of holding stables, I'll hold Solana and sell it at 500. That whole attitude. I guess if you want to apply that, you can apply that to Hyperliquid with hype at $100. I mean, that's I guess an arbitrary target, but I think that even if you're ready to risk it for the biscuit, it's even a kind of better opportunity, I guess, with more reward than Solana, where you can really put size in. But again, who knows what the market will do? But it's showing strength in that.
And strength is notable. Strength is something to take note of. And I do see that Speaker Ramos put a follow. That's the mistake I've made in this cycle, hodling. Well, there's times to take that strategy, and it can be rewarded really well. And there's times when it's not going to be rewarded really well. And what I would suggest, because I don't recognize your handle, so I think you're a newcomer to some of these streams, is when I'm doing some of my streams that are more geared towards TA, more geared towards the levels, which I do actually a chart request series. So I do a few different types of streams. And if you're wanting to learn what the signals are of when maybe you should be looking to exit the coin, then, you know, come and join some of those other streams, because I can help show the signs, because there are signals. Like, I'll pull up mine again. Like, you get a level, a clearly defined range level. If you start getting a bunch of wicks with a candle failing to close above, that's your signal that maybe that trade is over. Similar here, over here, we had the initial all-time high set. Price tried to get up above it. It failed to close above, and then it sold off exactly from that level and continued to go down. And you want to be out of the coin before it starts downtrending. The whole idea with levels trading and with having a system for trading is taking a trade with the trend. And that's stuff that I'll get into on some of the other streams. I'm not going to dive too heavily into that here because this is a research-focused episode, a research-focused show. But there are signs, and I can happily teach people those signs. And I was doing that before with the old live stream series back when I was doing it a few months ago. And it is part of some of the shows that I do now. So, join in for some of the other ones, and always feel free to ask questions. Yeah, well, I think we're gonna wrap it up. We're rounding out to about an hour and a half here. It seems that that's the time, the amount of time that these streams have been running lately. I do want to try and get them down to an hour or less, just to be mindful and respectful of people's time. But it's first week back doing the streams. It's been so far been a great experience on Twitch. I'm really enjoying the Twitch platform. Do you have any closing remarks? I posted in the chat a link to your X account, so if people want to go and find you, Too Tall on X, there's a link at the top of the chat where they can find you. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up here?
I think it just don't rush the process for progress. Like, don't try to rush the progress for the process. I mean, because you have to identify, like, if we're in bad trading conditions, you're likely going to be chopped up. And I made that mistake in the summer a bit. So I think, I mean, if you don't think the cycle is over, then there'll be better times. I think it's a question of looking to hone skills to better prepare you for when stuff starts looking much better, which could be in 2 weeks or 2 months, who knows, or 5
or
years.
even in 2 days. And I also agree, and I'm in the belief that the cycle is not over. And when the market slows down like this, it is actually a gift where you can go and reflect and review on your performance during the mania and look to the areas where you would like to improve, so that you can, when the time comes that the conditions realign and are bullish again and are more in the mania phase, that you are prepared for that, so that you're not caught like a rooster with its head cut off, trying to chase everything, where you can prepare yourself to act with a clear head and with intent, and capitalize and maximize those opportunities when they present themselves again. And by not chopping up your capital during these moments, yes, there's still plays to be had. And if you come across a play that you think you have an edge on, or that you have opportunity to keep growing your capital pool for when conditions do improve, by all means, you should be taking those opportunities. But also view these quieter moments in the market as a gift. Now, yes, over the summer months, they were long last year, and it was a long period of being able to reflect, but we still had coins running to like 200, 250 mil. I'm seeing in a group chat that apparently Yay coin confirmed.
For when?
I don't know. In one of the group chats, a buddy just said Yay coin confirmed. I'm not sure. Let's take a look. Let's go look in the alpha stream. Is it this one? No, can't be that one. Well, I wonder which one he's talking about.
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, neither am I. I'm just dropping in the chat CA ? Oh, It hasn't launched yet. Apparently, there is a potential Kanye coin launching. That might be alpha. I don't have any contract address.
It goes back to just being, that occurs, just being there when it does. You sitting on your hands until then.
And just make sure you're not buying a top and becoming exit liquidity.
What do you think a coin like that could reach?
I mean, it's Kanye, right? And he's definitely got a stranglehold on the attention of CT right now, right? Like everyone's been retweeting him, everyone's been commenting on his tweets. I think depending on whether it's a snipe fest and whatnot, like a coin like that, it could go beyond the Vine coin. Yeah, so I mean, there you go. That's like a 2x plus of where the Vine coin peaked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it has that kind of potential. I mean, Cerebro hit whatever it hit, 700 mil. Why couldn't a coin like Kanye hit $1 billion? I mean, he's not like the he's been saying the word billionaire a lot in those tweets recently. He's not like a presidential level of global attention, but he is very much heavily in the attention spotlight right now. So that would be pretty crazy, and I will keep an eye out for that. And on that, I think we're going to close it out. I want to thank everyone for joining us on the stream. See, we've fluctuated between 10 and 15 or so people watching the stream throughout the live, and we appreciate everyone showing up. Once again, shout out to the Daily Edge and Chain Edge. You can find links in the about for this channel as well on socials. And for anyone looking for a trading terminal experience, you can use my ref link in the about section for BullX to get on BullX Neo. Really smooth platform, great execution. They keep shipping new features. So if you're looking for a new trading terminal, consider giving that a shot. Anything else from you too, Tall?
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, me too. I think we're going to try and turn this into a weekly thing. So we'll keep you guys posted. And I think I'm going to put up an actual schedule of the different shows I'm doing, the days and times that those will be happening. And I'm going to try and stick to that because I think that level of consistency is really helpful for everyone. And on that, thanks everyone for joining us on the stream. Have a wonderful weekend. It's Friday. Yeah. We out.